All right, welcome back after an extended hiatus to Nerds by Screenlight. My name is Aaron.
I'm Phil.
I'm Zoe.
And Vicki.
And we have returned to the studio on this June 6th, 2025, also known as D-Day in World War II history, when the combined forces of the United States, France, England, Australia, Canadians, the whole 9 yards of the Allied army broke upon the entrenched Axis on the beaches of Normandy, establishing the largest invasion in history.
What a crazy day.
Yep, bonkers, and there's a lot of history, but we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about
a whole other podcast.
yeah, that's the historical podcast that we probably I don't know, we might, I don't know, we'll see.
Julie.
Yeah, Julie would be a key component there. So yeah, that's today, and Zoe and Vicki had an idea for our opener. What is it?
Come on, Vicki.
Scary school mascots.
Oh, school mascots?
Well, just a mascot. Doesn't have to be
School,
school.
professional league, whatever you want to call it. All right. So what was y'all's?
You go first.
I suppose I should start.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's my own elementary school where I work as a teacher. So our mascot's a cougar. And this thing has great big blue eyes and an open mouth with these sharp teeth. And I'll pass around a photo. It took me a little bit to realize that it terrified me. Like this thing, this thing has come into my room with me not knowing it was there, and I freaked out like it was almost like a real thing.
Okay.
I just think it's creepy.
Okay.
That's fair.
And I knew the person who wore it, but just no.
Is
It
it
was too
okay
much.
for kids? I don't know.
The kids are not scared of it at all.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm alone in this.
I think with kids, there's just like, oh, well, that's just a friendly neighborhood cougar, and
who
then
has
as
his
you-
mouth wide open, like, "Hi, children,
Yeah.
I'm going to eat you."
Yeah. And then you get to be an adult, and you're like, oh, that's
Although I did have a fourth grader at the end of the year who saw the counselor leaning close to the cougar's mouth to try to hear what the staff member was saying, and this fourth grader said, "Mrs. DeLay, why does the counselor look like she's about to be eaten by Carlos the cougar?" It's like, I'm not alone. Maybe I'm not alone.
That's lovely.
You were
Okay, that's a great image. All right, Zoe or Phil?
Okay, so when Vicki was showing me this picture, I was like, oh, that's nothing like, like the Dare Lion. So
Yeah.
we look up the new Dare Lion, and it is the creepiest. If you can pull up a picture, that'd be
I
good.
am working on it, yeah.
I don't know if I can say this, but it literally looks like it is on drugs and isn't promoting them.
Look at the
those eyes!
So, Matt, like, they're a professional organization.
Oh, yeah, I've seen them.
That's
It's horrible.
It's like Five Nights at Freddy's.
wild. That's what they went with.
I
That's,
know.
Hey, we need a new mascot, or hey, we need to update the mascot. No, we're going to do that.
At least it doesn't have the sharp teeth and the open mouth like
But the eyes.
the eyes.
It's all in the eyes. That's what they tell you. It's all in the eyes. All right, Phil, do you have a creepy mascot?
Just the really old Chuck E. Cheese.
So if
The fat rat.
yeah, so that was back. It wasn't called Chuck E. Cheese. What was it called?
It was
Showbiz Pizza.
Yeah,
Yeah, Showbiz Pizza. And there's like a whole documentary about Showbiz Pizza and the arc of that and how it became Chuck E. Cheese's. And like the people who were involved in building
No,
that.
there's one worse than that.
Oh, this is pretty bad.
No, that's
That's the 90s one.
yeah. The
Like, I've
80s.
got
Now,
to
the
find-
80s is the land of nightmares for sure. But yeah, no, there's a whole documentary about, and there's people who still have these things and are like programming them and like making them a thing. Yeah, it's wild.
See, I liked it.
It might be worse than that.
Yeah, it was crazy. There, I
Think of the rats in
That one's creepy.
and
Look at those eyes.
the possums in Goofy movie.
Oh, Goofy
Who's
movie.
your
Yeah.
Don't touch me.
So did you know, off on a tangent, that movie, Disney is putting out a special in review of a Goofy movie, like doing a hey, it's been how many years? Here's a look back, and they actually got they went back and they got the original stars of, they got obviously Goofy's voice, but then Max, he came back and they did a whole introspective and where they sang the song as they were sitting in a car with green screen. It like the trailer just made me like it was not even nostalgia, but it was just beautiful. I'm just like, oh my god. So I don't know if it's out yet or if it's been, but there's that going on. So
Speaking of coming back, King of the Hill is coming back this August, and I'm so excited. It's got all the original actors that,
I know.
that are still alive.
Yeah, one just died.
and that's a whole story.
Yeah.
There's actually more to it, which is unfortunate. It's not what people are claiming it to be. There's a whole actual layer of that actor's mental illness situation, and not what people are suggesting it was, which is the really heartbreaking part is that instead of telling the truth, there's some kind of like, hey, no, this
narrative.
And it's always hard in that situation. I mean, it's sad that he's dead. Like, there is no question. Like, that is a horrible loss. And he played in Parks and Rec and all kinds of other stuff. So when we come back, we're going to talk
Wait. What about your scary mascot?
Yeah. Aaron.
I don't.
You're not getting out of this.
That's very accusatory, Aaron. Silly.
Just trying to avoid the
Look,
question.
we haven't sat for a while. There's
I know.
No need to get feisty this early in the podcast. Good God Almighty. Like, I don't watch professional sports.
Well, they're not creepy.
Well, so the Rocky's Dino or Rocky, he is like, I get why we have him, but he does not look cool to me. Like, we've accepted him because we've had him for so many years, and also the Rockies really suck right now, which is just that's their default setting.
Literally.
But I always look like, because we've got, is Rocky the Denver Nuggets?
Don't ask me, dude. Don't ask me.
I don't know. Hold on. Let's Google it. Rockies baseball. What are we talking about?
Mascots.
Thank you. Dinger.
That's a horrible name.
It's a terrible name.
He's
Funny name.
There's a lot of jokes you can make about the Rocky situation, that they're a bunch of dingers right now. But yeah, he's the official mascot.
Can we say that on the podcast?
I can't.
So Dinger is also a dinosaur, another item of great interest to children. He made his debut in 1994. So Dinger's been around for a while, but it's wild that we have him, and that's his name. He looks. I mean, you compare him to Rocky, which is the mascot for the Denver Nuggets. Dude looks awesome. Man is like cool looking, and the guy, whoever dresses guy or girl that's in him, like they do awesome stuff in the studio. Like he looks like he's in motion and doing something cool. And Dinger just looks like a big old portly stegosaurus.
Maybe we need a new Dinger.
We need a new Dinger. Okay, this is another tangent for a second. Have you ever watched the show Dinosaurs back in the day?
No.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So,
Dude, the ending of that was insane.
yeah, it was like actually traumatic a little bit, because the end of the show is basically the asteroid hits Earth.
Oh,
That's horrible.
But it was a great show.
I would say all of those, if they were mascots, technically they're all scary.
But they were all puppetry and animatronic. Like they were all actual. Like it was brilliant. There's a part of that show. There's a segment on the show generally where they're like at a kid show. It's like a science show, and like there's a kid that gets experimented on, and the kid gets blown up, and the scientist is like, "We're gonna need another Timmy."
oh my gosh.
So we're gonna need another Dinger.
Yeah, we do.
That's what we do.
We do.
So yeah, if there was anybody, it'd be just like, Dinger, no, just get rid of, just get something else. Come on. But here's the thing: the Rockies managers, they don't really, not the owners, the owners do not care. They're all about just getting that money from the stadium. People come in and pay for tickets. It's a check. It's literally just a cash box for them. And people have been saying, just sell the team to somebody who cares, because you obviously don't.
Maybe I'd go to a game if there wasn't a Dinger. You know?
Yeah. Start a campaign.
Dump
Dinger. Dump the Dinger.
Is that supposed to be an animal?
Yeah, it's a Stegosaurus. Or it's a Triceratops. Sorry, he's a Triceratops.
It's a dinosaur?
He's a Triceratops. Yeah, he's Dinger. He's Dinger the Triceratops.
That doesn't make sense.
Because Colorado has been known for dinosaur bones,
Yeah. Well,
yes,
Dinosaur Ridge, and the Rock.
Don't replace it with a cougar.
It doesn't make
Mountain
take
lion.
it doesn't make sense with the baseball theme. Like you're like, okay, like, yeah. I don't know. Don't ask questions. I don't have answers. When we come back, we'll do a brief kind of maybe conversation about how we can't seem to not reinvent shows and movies, and we'll be right back. And then we'll talking about what's our movie we're talking about today?
You've Got Mail.
You've Got Mail. Thank you very much.
Worried about you
It's
now.
been a long day. All right, we'll be right back.
Talk nerdy to me. I get so.
Talk me to me.
All right, welcome back to Nerds by Screenlight. My name is Aaron.
I'm Phil.
And I'm Zoe.
And Vicki.
Here it is. Okay, so everything old is new again.
Literally.
King of the Hill, Lilo and Stitch live action.
Oh, don't get me started on that one.
Let's talk about that for a second. I haven't seen it, but I've watched so many reviews, and I am furious.
I haven't seen it, but just looking at Stitch, I'm like, that's not Stitch.
No.
Okay, do you want to get spoiled? Do you mind spoiling?
Go for it.
Okay, so here's the deal, right? So, most of the characters in the movie, but they don't, so like the big, tall shark dude.
Yeah.
He's not even in the movie.
That's my favorite character.
Yeah, he's the bad guy, right? So what they do is they put the big alien scientist in the bad person role.
Okay.
So but in the original movie, he's the friend. I mean, he's annoying and he's kind of bad, but he turns good because he sees, hey, Stitch needs a home. Like he figures it out and they go to fight the guy, whatever. So that happens, and they also were complaints that like because they used Zach Galifianakis, which you would think, but dude doesn't look interesting anymore. Like something happened as he got older.
Oh,
and
for sure.
He's not like I was watching trailers and watching like behind the scenes, and I was just like, does this guy even want to be in this movie? He didn't really seem to energetic about it at all. I was like, oh, okay. Even in the scenes they were showing, I was like, but Pleakley is played by an actor who kind of cares, but they don't show them out of their human So what they do in 2003 or whatever it was when Lilo and Stitch came out, they had him in like they were aliens, but they had like costumes on.
Yeah.
In this movie, nope. They're just they're human bodies, and then sometimes they shift in and out of their human to alien bodies. It's dumb.
I thought it was so cool when they would dress up differently.
Yeah, and the idea was that people really didn't know that they were like, oh, whatever, but it was Hawaii, so who do you know? What do you know? Yeah. All right, so you ready for the ending?
Okay.
What they do?
They die.
So, no. That would be amazing. If Disney did that, I'd be like, all right, y'all got it. Y'all figured out you wanted to really surprise the audience. You didn't even like course correct. You just went, everyone dies. Atom bomb, kaboom.
No more Lilo and Stitch.
So bad at you.
No more Lilo, no more Stitch, no more Hawaii. Bye-bye.
Whoa, that was a little...
It really was.
We're living in a fictional world. If
No
Disney was...
Hawaii.
Aaron's fantasy
if
world. Disney
Dis-
has terrible
If Disney
endings.
lost their minds and was like, let's just... swerve and whatever. Anyway,
Big time.
no. So in the original movie in 2003, like Bubbles is like he's a caseworker for Human Services, but he's a former CIA agent, and he's basically gonna have to take Lilo away from Nani, and through the movie we go through some adventures and stuff, and he ends up taking her away, put her in the car. And then Lilo sneaks out and goes and runs away, and then the whole hijinks happen with Stitch getting caught by the big shark dude, whatever. Yeah. So in this movie, and so they all get to bed at the end, and the grand counselor comes down and says, "Oh, well, they're family." And she's like, "I signed a document. My dog, you can't steal him. That's stealing." And it was a cool little like, "Oh," and Ohana means family. No one gets left behind or left whatever. Yeah. So in the end of the new movie,
His face. Uh-huh.
Lilo, yeah, yes, yep.
I'm
That's
just
the
joking.
steal. That's the spoiler. No, Lilo gets put into foster care,
Yeah, I've heard about this.
and it's the next door neighbor. And then Nani, instead of going to an actual school that exists on the islands of Hawaii for being a marine biologist, that degree exists on the island at a school on the island.
Yeah.
Nani, a native Hawaiian with incredible roots, leaves and goes to the mainland to go to school. And they solve this by saying, "Oh, we've got a portal gun that you can open up a portal so you see your sister and visit with her at your house that you're at on foster care with the next door neighbor."
No.
Why in the world would you do that?
I hate to say this, but I'd rather them die.
Right?
Just because that's just
Blow it up.
horrible.
Portal gun.
So because they were like when they were getting interviewed, like, "Oh yeah, no, the ending's been modernized. We're doing for modern." And I'm like, "Oh no, you did not. No, you did not." So here's the deal: when the original was done, so the voice of Stitch, if you didn't know this, the guy who voices Stitch, he was actually the original director and writer and creator of the original movie. So he wrote it as a children's book, and it didn't get taken. And he took it to Disney and was like, "Hey, I've got this idea," and it was fully illustrated. It's really awesome. You see it on camera. And Disney was like, "Okay, cool, we'll do it." And he made sure, and everyone made sure that it was authentically Hawaiian. They went and they filmed luau scenes, and they represented Hawaii extraordinarily well. This movie is a Hawaiian movie. People from Hawaii talk about how important this movie was to them because it represented their culture and their people and their world brilliantly. Yeah, you done messed it up.
Now it's Moana. Because I actually like both movies.
Yeah, and I mean, I love Moana. Like, it's a good movie. Yeah. But this, like, they went in live action.
They just need to stop doing live action.
For real.
Here's the thing with live action.
Don't even get me started on Snow White.
You take a movie that, like, Lilo and Stitch is one of the most beloved Disney movies of the 2000s. It's hard. Like, it's got Elvis. It's got an alien who pants paddle, like hilarious, touching.
Do that again.
Pants paddle.
Oh my lord!
I can do a reasonable Stitch. So
yes, you can.
It's a movie about heart. It's a movie about family. It's a movie about adoption. This alien dog comes in and is a menace and is evil. But by the end of the movie, his character arc has come to Ohana means family, and that's a brilliant moment. Like when he's in the back, like whatever country, like all the trees and the whatever, and he's reading the book with the ugly duckling, and the little duckling says, "I'm lost," and he kind of looks up and says, "I'm lost," and so, like, just why would you mess with that? Why?
I don't know, Aaron. I don't make enough money to know this.
Anyway.
But yeah, I feel you because I used to own it on VHS and I'd watch it all the time.
I love Lilo and Stitch. I love
it. And it actually didn't have it too bad of a spin-off series.
Yeah. They had a whole TV series. And then there was like Lilo and Stitch 2, Stitch with a Glitch. I think there's a third movie they made to direct to video. So like, and in the last, how long has it been since, oh my gosh, it's been like 20 years. Don't want to talk about
Over.
that. Yeah. In the last 20 years, Stitch has remained in the cultural zeitgeist.
Yeah.
In like stuff you could buy at the store.
Yeah.
Kids still dress up
Yeah.
like Stitch for Halloween.
Yeah. That movie continues to remain in the consciousness. And I think Disney was like, ooh, kids loved it. We're going to bring... And so what's interesting is when they brought it back, the guy who did the voice, that's all he did. He was not the writer. He was not the director. They brought in a new writer. They brought in a new director. And they did a whole bunch of like stuff that was... So what I think happened is that the guy who did it originally he wanted it to be good. He had an idea and a vision for the movie that was heart. It was emotion. It was meaningful. And then this new crew comes in and they're like, oh, we're going to do better. Like, no, you can't. No one can.
Do you think they're just trying to set up for a second movie?
Of course. Here's the thing. Disney loves to print money. That's all they want to do. Disney is Marvel's the same way. Star Wars is the same way. Andor, and I'd be curious at some point to sit down and do Andor with you. Andor season 2 has won people over. It started like...
I've heard it's the best thing since like the originals.
Yeah. Like, people are talking about how incredible and visceral and important that series was. And they're like, you saved Star Wars. You did the thing.
It also helps that, like, May the 4th was not long ago.
Yeah.
And since Andor and May the 4th,
yeah.
Star Wars Battlefront 2,
yeah.
the newer one,
yeah.
it has reached its top amount of players recently.
Yeah.
And that game is, like... over 5 years old now.
Yeah.
So.
And it's still going. So
we played it the other day.
Yeah, it's my favorite.
So there's points in the world where it's like, someone out there knows how to make good Star Wars movies. The Andor crew in their filmmaking, they know how to do it. Apparently nobody else does, but that's beside the point.
Well, Stitch just looks, I'm sorry, but horrible.
Yeah, it just...
And the live action. It doesn't look like Stitch.
Disney, stop doing live action.
Yeah.
Just stop.
Just stop.
I think because people's reaction... Like, the videos on the algorithm when I started watching the reviews of Lilo and Stitch, it was universally, what have you done to our show? Aww. And here's the thing, because when it came out in 2003, that was our, like, that was that I think it was Gen X, like, that was a big part of our lives. And so you've got people who remember this movie and have a, like, real deep connection. And so they're going in like, oh, maybe Disney will do it right this time because it's Lilo and Stitch. You can't screw that up, can you?
Apparently you can.
You can, and you can keep... They have not. Their track record on live action has not been... There hasn't been one success, I don't think.
No.
Between Lion King, Snow White, you had Beauty and the Beast, it's just been miss after miss. Mulan was a disaster. I just
I don't really like that movie, but
a lot of feelings. The original or the remake?
period.
Okay.
It's his favorite, but
I
It's
like
not my
it too.
favorite. I like it, but it's not my favorite.
What's your favorite Disney movie?
My favorite Disney movie, probably between Aladdin.
Oh,
Like if
yeah.
we're talking about like animated,
Yeah.
Yeah.
probably between like Aladdin or Lion King.
Okay.
Lion King's so good.
Yeah.
But I do like Mulan a lot.
Yeah. I like the music of Mulan.
Yes.
Mulan. I really love the music.
You gotta love Mushu and the cricket.
Yeah.
oh well, yeah.
The cricket.
It's we won't go, we'll go into depth at some point about your Mulan particulars. No,
That's from my childhood. I don't know what I would feel about it now. But
yeah, Mulan is Disney, even Disney cartoon, the movie, the animated movies. They're not perfect.
Yeah.
But you look at what they did with the live action. It's crazy. Okay, we need to move on because we'll get stuck in
on.
Disney World. Or we'll get stuck on It's a Small World after all, right?
No, that song's gonna get in my head. Oh.
Anyway,
it's already in my head.
I can tell.
mission accomplished. Actually, it wasn't my intent. Okay, so you've got mail. You all have watched it recently. I did not watch it. I was doing stuff all day today.
We did. It was just a while ago.
Yeah, it was a while back. So I'm gonna let y'all lead this
God.
for the most part. I remember it. It's an interesting thing because when we talked about the shop around the corner, we had a conversation, kind of almost like a little bit of a back and forth about how manipulative Jimmy Stewart's character was. I had thought about this, but when I rewatched it, Tom Hanks's character isn't any better by your measurements.
Actually, this movie has a whole nother layer of horribleness.
Really?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
As I was watching it again, I was like, oh.
Dude, watching this now versus when it came out
Yeah. Okay, we'll get
as
through
an
it.
adult,
We'll get through it.
I have feelings.
Okay,
Yeah.
we're going to talk about those feelings. We'll see what we come out with in the end of this podcast. Why do I have two headphones around my
don't
head?
I
You
was
need
just
to,
wondering
dude.
that.
You need to.
I think I forgot about those ones and was looking for. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. So this before we move on. The reason why I'm like all kinds of asking questions about what's happening. This is the week after we got out of school. Not even that. Like it's like this is what, Friday.
It's been a
And
week.
you've
It's
been
been a
doing
week.
summer school. It's not like you
It's
stopped.
been a week. So what happens with teachers and even counselors and anybody who works in the school districts, that first week after school, like that first week of summer, is no man's land.
Yeah.
It's a lot like spring break sometimes, where you just don't know which way is up, or Christmas break, where you're just time has no meaning, and you're like, where are we at? What are we doing?
What day is it?
Summer break is worse because it's just, yeah, it's
Endless.
fun. But it gets better the second week because then I actually know what's going on in life. It's fine. Okay, so this is You've Got Mail with Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks.
Yes, their third movie.
Meg Ryan she's amazing in whatever. At some point, we'll have to sit down and watch her movie that she did with David Duchovny, which is a recent movie in the last couple of years.
Oh, okay.
Where it was kind of like her. I think it was her attempt to get back into the romantic comedy scheme in life. And David Duchovny is pretty good, but we'll have to. It's an interesting. The reviews are interesting, so we'll see if we get into that. All right. So how do we start this movie up?
Well, the opening's like, how would you describe? It's not really animated. It's like,
Yeah, it is.
I guess it is animated. I don't remember that. That threw me off instantly. Like the openers.
Kind of reminded me of like just beginning internet technology, like beginning animation, and then it kind of merged into real life. It was kind of interesting.
Yeah, because I noticed this time that even the technology they use evolves throughout the movie.
Yep.
Even that I never noticed before.
Does it start off with them emailing each other?
Yeah, that's like her first thing.
But you hear Tom Hanks narrate over his part.
Yep.
So right off the bat, it gives it away of who's who.
Yeah. Whereas in the original, we don't. We kind of had an idea, but we didn't know who was who until
Yeah, it doesn't come out until a
it
little
got-
later.
Well,
Right.
and I think part of what this movie wanted to do is it wanted to create it wanted to give the audience the knowledge, and that was where the humor would come into, because the audience would go, "Oh, that's what. Oh, okay, ha ha ha, chuckle, 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 chuckle." Although Doesn't sound like doesn't sound like Zoe was chuckling.
Well, no, because in this one, it's basically showing their lives with their partners that they
Yeah,
have.
Oh my
Joe
gosh.
and,
Yeah,
Joe
so
and
this-
Kathleen.
Excuse me.
They
Megan,
have,
she actually talks to her coworker and says, "Does it count as infidel if it's email?" And I was like,
Yes, it does.
"Yeah, it does count.
Oh my gosh.
Kids
So
at home, it counts.
If you're asking somebody that, it counts."
I had forgotten about that. So that's where I think
I did too, and that's what I was like livid from the
We
beginning.
were watching it, going, "Oh boy."
I could have done without that. Yeah. And I think
Even though I love those two.
oh my gosh, they're
Oh my
amazing.
God,
they're
yes.
fantastic. They're meant for each other.
And their
basically.
partners are not. It's like, why are you with this person? Both of you.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's
I like all the supporting cast in this movie.
yeah.
Yeah.
They're all amazing.
Yeah.
It's pretty packed and stacked with good quality. So yeah, the movie the movie starts and both of our main characters are in relationships. Now they're not married.
No,
Their girlfriend.
It doesn't matter.
I'm gonna validate Zoe's statement that it does matter absolutely, because even if you're not like marriage, girlfriend, engaged, fiance,
Whatever you are, don't cheat.
yeah, just don't
Or break up and go be with the other person.
Yeah.
But communicate.
yeah. I just so we start with that whole dynamic. Where do we continue? So
They're going to work.
going to
And
work.
they pass each other at every corner.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
this amazing song by the Cranberries is
Yeah.
playing in the background.
the
I love
the
that.
soundtrack of this movie is
Yeah.
legit.
Oh yes.
They did an incredible. And this was Nora Ephron, correct? Who directed this?
I think so.
So Nora Ephron was produced by and directed by Nora Ephron. She's no longer with us, but she was the it girl for romantic comedy films throughout the years. She passed away in 2012, but she Silkwood, When Harry Met Sally, Sleepless in Seattle, You've Got Mail. She also did Julie and Julia, which is a movie at some point we'll have to talk about, because that one's got a lot of feelings about that. But yeah, she was the it girl and it woman, I guess you could call her, and she was talented. Girl had it. She knew how to make up and produce and make a well done romantic comedy. And we're the poorer for not having her in the world, because I think if she had lived longer, she really could have given us even more greatness.
Totally.
Although, given how we're reacting to this movie, I don't know if she could make a movie like this now in 2025. I don't think we could pull it off.
Just the okay.
All right, Zoe, let's have
Because
it.
just like the undertones of like the technology.
Yeah.
Just even what was this was like 2000s.
This
earlier.
was this movie came out in 1998.
Yeah, and like look at us now with Tinder and
Yeah.
like
I mean, this is early internet days.
Oh my
So
gosh.
Meg Ryan got her first computer while she was filming
What?
this. Yeah.
Yep.
that's crazy. That's cool, actually.
Yeah.
it just shows how much
Yeah.
how reliant we are on technology today,
Yeah.
even just to have a relationship.
Connectivity and all that.
Which these people already knew each other,
Right.
But they didn't know
but
it.
they didn't know it.
They didn't know each other. I think that's part of why this movie, the humor in this
Sounds
movie.
like it would make a good horror movie.
I mean,
Well, I mean, honestly,
yeah.
there's that one part of the movie where it's like maybe you were talking to a serial
Oh yeah,
killer.
the rooftop killer.
Oh yeah, that
That was
lie.
great.
That was a lot. I loved it so much.
Honestly, you never know.
Well, she's like, you lived.
Right? But did you die?
Oh,
Is always the question you ask. So we do. So at what point? So at a certain point, with his aunt and nephew, half brother Matthew.
Oh, that's so awkward. That hurt my brain.
I was like,
Oh yeah, that's way a bit on.
You got an
but-
aunt and a brother that
yes,
are younger than
I
you.
might be getting a step ahead. All right, where are we plot?
You're almost
Yeah.
there.
Well, let's talk about like
Their jobs,
their
Yeah,
job.
that's
So
important.
like he works in a big
like corporate.
corporate.
She is the.
It's like the
he's-
Barnes and
He is the
Noble.
CEO of Barnes and Noble of our
Basically.
time. But
Yeah.
he's in charge of. He's the CEO of Fox Books, because his dad was the former previous CEO or whatever. He took
Yeah.
over his dad. His dad is a whole
Oh, don't
another
even.
conversation.
Oh my gosh,
Towards
what a mess.
I get really disgusted by the end.
Yeah,
Fair.
Towards the end,
yeah,
but then the ending's great. But
Yeah.
then,
yeah.
like the both. Okay, whatever. We'll get there.
Dad's a mess. Dad needs help.
But yeah, and on the opposite coin, she works at a small bookstore, which I love that the callback to the
The store around
Shop around the
shop
corner.
around the corner,
Yeah.
and that's what they call it. It is a really and it's. I think it's what we all think of when we think of the independent bookstore and what makes it so important. Because people know and love people, and I don't want to say that the days of the independent bookstore are not alive and well. There are up in Greeley. There's the
we have one here in town.
There's the Midnight Oil.
Midnight
bookstore.
Oil is
Midnight Oil. Is
Oh, shout out Midnight Oil.
yeah,
Yes.
it is an incredible bookstore with an incredible group of staff, and they work really hard.
and he's opening a second one called the Armory
Really? Where's that going to be at?
Right down the street.
right down the
Oh,
street.
of course he is.
But they're like these historical like it was an armory or
Oh, okay.
something.
Oh, okay.
So it's
That's
pretty
cool.
That's awesome.
I have trivia based on kind of what we're talking about. So the location of Fox Books in the movie was the location of a real life Barnes and Noble.
Okay.
It generated neighborhood opposition when it opened in the early 1990s.
Yeah.
Fear it would drive out a local bookseller, Shakespeare and Company.
Okay.
But with the rollback, huge downtown stores, which have to pay extravagant fees for their leases, smaller bookstores are reappearing in key locations.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool.
That's what you see a lot of as you see these corner niche markets where they're able to take and do what they want and really build an audience, build a group of loyal customers who continue to go. Like every time we've gone into a used bookstore in a major town in our travels,
Yeah, we make it a point.
They're busy. They've got people in there. There's stuff going on. They're still rocking and rolling. But in this case, her shop is really cool. We meet her unique staff members.
So the younger girl, I think, who's still in college, she was in Miss Congeniality,
Yeah.
which was driving us
I
crazy.
kept
So,
going,
just
I know
look
them.
familiar.
I know them. Because I love all of the actors and actresses in this. Like
Yeah, Birdie's my favorite.
Oh yeah, she's great. I think it's really important to note that like Joe Fox thrives on closing out independent bookstores.
Yeah.
And that's like a really big
Yeah.
Yeah, because he buys up their inventory.
Yep.
And
And he doesn't really care.
Yeah,
he
no.
doesn't. He doesn't.
No.
In the beginning of the movie and even in the middle, he's
Well,
just
it's like he says, it's not personal; it's just business.
business.
Yeah.
And that line gets a callback in a lot. So there's a lot of as simple and as like lightweight as this movie tries to sell itself that as it is a. It's complicated. It's deep. It's got a lot of
Which I
stuff
think
going
makes
on.
a really good romantic comedy. To be honest,
Yeah.
if you got those deep undertones, you don't see a lot of that these days.
That's
There is
true.
an author that I love who does that, Abby Jimenez. I would highly recommend.
There you go. There's your recommendation for the week on in the audience. Okay, so are we to the point where they show up to the bookstore?
the kids.
basically.
Yeah, the kids. Yeah. So
That she knows by name and they come in on there all the time.
yeah, but she
He
doesn't know
picks
their
up
last
his
name.
brother like he's interrogating him.
That was
You
kind of
notice
cute.
that? Just picks him up like he's got like his face cut. How you doing? Great. I was asking him another question. Picks him up again.
Oh, and there's some foreshadowing here.
Okay, remind me.
Because that lady is like married to his dad or whatever.
Oh.
And then she runs away with that girl.
Oh,
And she
yeah.
says, oh, "It's my fault. I should never be with a man who lies." That is foreshadowing.
Bow. This is why we have Zoe on the program. She
Well,
is-
because I was like, why are they so close if they're like.
Yeah, there's no
Yeah.
kind of.
right. Well, wasn't his dad's girl trying to hit on Fox?
Yes!
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And he
remember-
got up and left.
He was just like, this is
So
weird.
she's a mess too.
Yeah.
I feel like that was there for no reason because it's not touched
It
on
never
again.
comes back again, but I think it just implies that she's cheating too, and like everyone's cheating.
Just everyone's horrible.
Everyone-
Well, the way that she like tried to kiss him was weird
Oh,
too.
yeah.
He like turned his cheek at the last minute. Like,
Oh yeah.
Things we thought we had forgotten about this movie, but they keep coming back. So then, like, they're at the store and they're like, F-O, and he stops him from saying his name and everything like that.
I'm just Joe.
I'm just Joe. I'm
With
just
the
Joe.
fish.
With the fish. I'm like, yeah.
Oh, tell them because feels like I'm going to be worried about these fish the whole time, and then we see him again. And he's like,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
I was like, I'm gonna keep my eye on these fish. I'm gonna see where they go.
you're the animal rights activist.
Feels very particular about his animals.
I'm just like, this is a detail they could easily forget.
Right, they could just throw
Oh,
away, never
got
come
it.
back in. But it does. This movie's consistency at least continues there.
The fish at least get home.
Yeah, because he actually slams his hand in the door trying to save the fish.
So by the way, that was unscripted.
Are you serious?
Yeah. So he that line where he ad libbed say, "At least it wasn't the fish." That wasn't in the script. he ad libbed that. I thought that was my favorite.
Go Tom Hanks.
That's amazing. Okay, sir.
Oof. I don't really remember after this. I remember the end.
Okay, so they go back and forth.
They go to a party. That's what it is.
Oh, yeah,
And
they
she-
meet at the
And
party.
she realizes who she met.
Yeah.
She says, I can't believe you're talking to Joe Fox. Joe Fox?
Fox.
It's crazy though that a name, just a name,
Yeah.
inflicts that much like anger because she loved him before, and then
Yeah.
it was like, whoa.
Well, okay, so people out there are probably, if you're of a certain age group, you are thinking, wait, how did she not know what he looked like in 1998?
They didn't have
and-
the internet, really.
Well,
This is brand new
They didn't have
days.
profile pictures.
No, they didn't
Yeah.
have, and especially on AOL. We're talking about AOL Instant Messenger, which I had an account.
Yeah, I
on.
did too.
too.
I remember,
I remember
those
chatting
days.
with people. and-
Yeah.
Heathens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of you.
Yeah.
And then it became AIM. And
Yeah, and then it went away, finally, at long last.
Got into MySpace.
Oh.
Then go MySpace.
Well, no, let me point out too. This is something I noticed while watching the movie. The technology changes; it grows over time.
Yeah,
So at first they're on like the big bulky computers.
yeah,
Then they're on a laptop, and it starts off with them emailing each other.
yeah,
Then at the end,
They're instant
they're
messaging.
instant messaging,
Yeah.
and it's like
yeah,
I remember the first time he instant messaged her, and
I love
She
her
freaked
reaction because
out.
that was me.
Yeah.
The first time that happened, I'm like, whoa.
Right.
You know I'm here? Like,
right.
Oh, and Kathleen used a Mac, and Joe used a PC, and it
Yeah.
kind of fit their characters.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
that's hilarious. So yeah, yeah,
Sorry, because then it gets into her boyfriend, and he's just oof.
he's a wacko.
With his
And he's
freaking
really
diaper.
self-absorbed,
So-
too.
Yes.
That's
Here-
the most annoying thing about him to me.
Here's my thing. I love old school typewriters. I have one up in my
Oh
office.
my goch, I did think of you
as
a little bit.
as a bit of a decoration. But I am not like him in that I have to have the latest
And
the-
multiple of the
and
same.
multiple.
I was like, dude.
I mean,
Vicky,
they
don't
have
call him
different
out.
keyboards, though.
Well, those are key. Like I have that one, and I have my I don't have.
You're not as bad as him,
No.
but there
They're
are moments that I
they get
hear you
used.
drilling. I'm like, he's drilling a hole into the furniture again.
Well, no, that's for microphones.
Not the
That's-
holes.
the holes for the microphones. That's what that.
No,
those
you're
are
not
for.
as bad as him.
Yeah.
He's so self-absorbed.
Yeah, and he doesn't understand like his.
in the words
People.
of Taylor Swift, who uses a typewriter anyway?
Apparently, this guy does, but he's so in love with the written word and so in love with being recognized, and it is beyond what's normal. Like there's I don't want to say like mental illness, but there's
He's a
some-
narcissist.
Yeah, there you go. That's what I'm looking
That's
for.
the word for it.
Absolutely narcissist.
And it's like he's using a lot of big words, but he's not saying much.
Yeah, and he's
Honestly, it's a lot of fluff.
Yes.
yeah, he's very much in love with who's reading his article. What are they saying about it?
And ironically, Tom Hanks' girlfriend is really into him, and
She
they
loves it.
hit it off. We were dying.
They're like, no,
we were losing it. We were like, what is happening?
It's like this is how it starts.
don't let me go.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll call you.
Yeah, they were literally holding hands, and they're like, no.
Let him go.
Yeah, just give
Yeah,
it
for real.
up. So yeah,
Sorry.
go ahead.
I
Don't-
just love the part when they're fighting, and he just gets all the caviar. And
Oh,
she's
he's so petty.
She's like, but that's the garnish, and then he takes all
Oh
of
my
it.
god.
Oh, and the look that she's giving the whole time, I was like, I felt her so much.
So what I love, okay, so
I was
Zoe,
waiting to bring that up.
all of Zoe's feelings about what happens as this movie goes on are valid. I'm not discounting her because she obviously is a professional counselor who passed all her things and is
I
now
applied today for my license.
applied for her license. Like
Yay!
she's gonna be.
And she got an award.
Yeah, she got an award out of the school district for excellent.
Earring.
Yeah, I nominated her because she deserved it, and she's amazing. And
I thought it was a great
Wanted
idea.
everyone to know. So I'm not going to discount any of what Zoe had to say because Zoe has a master's in this. She's done her she knows, she understands this in a level of in 2025. The DSM was it DSM-5 now?
Mm-hmm.
The DSM-5 all like she knows her business. There's no way I'm going to be like Zoe, you're wrong because number one, she'll murder me.
Literally.
She knows where we live.
Number two,
I have friends.
yeah, she'll find somebody. She'll
Do me a
arrange
favor,
it.
keep me out of it.
She'll,
Okay.
she'll arrange it, and I will no longer be on the podcast. So it'll be the Zoe show.
Could you imagine them bringing this up, and I'm like getting a murder charge?
Zoe Savage, you're under arrest for attempted
I
plotting
didn't
a murder.
do anything. I didn't do it. I didn't do it.
We have audio proof. It's a podcast. We'll have to add like a disclaimer at the start.
Literally.
Anything on this show is a bit. Please do not take any of it seriously.
It's called free speech, man.
It's called free speech. I wasn't threatening. Is it if I had threatened him, it wouldn't have been on tape. And it
Exactly.
would have been texted. It would have been in person.
Actually, if you're inciting violence, it's not free speech.
That's true. There is a line.
Thank you
There is a line.
for your help
There is
and
a line.
support.
There is a line.
Just letting you know. Watch it.
Just try not to get you arrested.
I'm not going to murder Aaron. I
No.
promise.
Not today.
Nice.
Metaphorically, not
Metaphor-
really.
Not really. I might be thinking about it right now, but it's fine. It's fine. Yeah, there's the I can't even. I was waiting for
I'm
it.
getting hot. Actually. It's fine.
Anyway, back to the topic at hand. So these two characters, obviously they're committing infidelity with each other because they're starting the food scene where he takes it, like this is where Fox becomes just an utter jerk. Like he
Yes.
already was, but this is the beauty of the show versus tell. The movie has been telling us kind of that he's a jerk, his attitude towards people, but when you see him do that just to upset her, just to
Yes.
make her mad, there's no other reason for him to do it. I don't know what you call
Well,
that.
maybe he likes caviar.
Don't make excuses for this man.
Yeah,
Just
don't.
joking.
I love that I'm on the other side of this conversation.
I
so
can play both sides. I'm really good at this.
It's the danger with Zoe. She knows it all.
Yes.
It's funny when he goes back to his girlfriend or whatever.
Yeah.
He's like, "Would you like some caviar garnish?"
And she's just like talking. I don't know what she's talking about.
She's
She's
crazy
yapping in the background.
and terrifying.
So, she's an agent for books, correct? Or an agent for
I
writers?
think
Yeah.
she owns
Publishing.
her own book company.
Yeah.
Eden
So-
Books, I think is what it's called.
So obviously their relationship came out of the book world. Like obviously,
They
that's
have
just
stuff
how
in
it worked.
common, you know.
Yeah, they're both insane. She's more crazy. I think she's more
Yes.
clinically nuts.
Oh,
than
he
he
calls
is.
how he describes her to his coworker. It says she makes coffee nervous,
Yeah, I loved that line actually.
That's fantastic.
It's true.
I love it.
and then she like chimes in about like a sleeping pill or something.
Right.
It's like, oh no, I know the perfect one, and here's how you take it. Oh, gosh.
Lady is crazy.
Uh-huh.
So, what's next?
I don't know.
I mean, I have the plot. Hold on.
Okay. We talked about Home Dude and his million typewriters
Abrasive publisher. Yeah, that's a great word.
party.
This is when he goes to like meet her, right?
Oh yeah, is this? So she emailed him.
Oh, but they fight back first.
Yeah.
Like he gives her advice on like go to the mattresses from The Godfather. Apparently,
yeah,
I've seen The
yeah,
Godfather. I
go
don't
to
remember
that-
the line.
So this movie really likes to up. And here's the thing: you'll never hear me not praise the movie, the original Godfather, as an absolute cinema masterpiece. If you haven't seen it, if you haven't seen it recently, you need to go back and watch it. It is
never
Watch
seen
it
it.
with Phil.
absolute, absolute. And
As somebody who watched it.
So-
Watch it.
it is the ultimate, and again, we're in 2025, so you have to pardon this, but it is the ultimate in what has been called like a guy's movie.
Well, and there's so many cultural references to it. I think it's helpful to
Yeah.
have seen it.
Go to the mattresses.
And it's like Heart of Darkness. Like you watch his descent into.
putting a horse head in the bed to send a message, stuff like. There's a lot of that lingo, like make you an offer you can't refuse. That is
I hope
Godfather.
your first child is a masculine child.
Yeah.
That's what I always know.
It is, and it's very Italian, very, very Italian culture, very steeped in mafioso. But the second and the third are, third is a wobbly mess. 2 is all right, but 3 is, so in 3, Coppola brought his daughter in to play a role, and it has become the joke for the last 30, 40 years. And Sofia Coppola has said, yeah, no, that was a mistake. That was bad. I'm not an actress. I didn't know what I was doing. And it was really because she just didn't act well, but because her dad was directing the movie, he cast her in the role. And it was rough. So yeah, it's this movie. Tom Hanks loves Fox loves The Godfather.
And so does Tom Hanks.
Yeah,
That was in the trivia.
Absolutely.
Well,
So
he did the voice so well in the.
yeah,
Yeah. But he talks about go to the mattresses, go to war.
so they go to war.
So she gets her boyfriend. I
Yeah.
guess
Oh,
we'll
yeah, to
call him.
write the article and stuff.
Yeah, Frank pens a column about the situation, and
She has several interviews and
yeah,
stuff.
so it becomes viral. She goes viral.
They even have like a little protest.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
protest.
they end up on the news.
Yeah,
which is so
flirting
great
with
because yeah.
Newscaster.
Oh my gosh, I was so aggravated with him. I'm like, you just
And he's
lost
like
the whole point.
And he's like watching it with Kathleen, and I'm like,
And he's like, look.
He's quoting himself. That's the part where I'm like, oh my gosh, dude.
she's sweating.
She keeps touching herself. Like, do you
Yeah.
think she's into you?
Do you realize what's going on, man? Like,
She's
He
giggling
does.
a lot.
He does.
He
Find
knows.
out later.
Yeah. So, and
Literally everyone cheats in this thing. I swear
Yep.
to God.
It's not a great story of fidelity or
No.
like how to handle relationships.
Just be honest with people, man. If you don't want to be with them, don't be with them.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not that hard.
Don't put up with the lies. Don't put up with the manipulations. Don't
And
it's-
communicate. Like, I do like their little scene when they finally are like, we don't love each other.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
not be together.
Well, what's interesting is we get to
Yeah,
the,
how mature they both
right.
parties handled that.
Yeah.
It just and they like it's. I think what that is, and Zoe, you can kind of comment in here if you want. I shouldn't even say if you want. You should feel free to break in and comment. Do whatever the hell you want.
She's licensed.
Yes.
Oh my God.
I'm licensed to comment.
The pressure.
no pressure.
You're like James Bond, but in a counseling office.
What?
That's so cool.
Dun-dun,
So it's not.
dun-dun-dun.
Pop it for you. Pop it for you. It's fine. Okay.
It's fine. Everything's fine. So the way that those relationships end is they're not the manner in which they end. I think what kind of Phil was alluding to is there's nothing there. They weren't.
Yeah, if
really,
you blink, you miss it.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's over. It's done and gone with. And so what I think that suggests is that there was nothing holding them together. There was only, I think,
Comfort.
yeah, or the idea that this is what we should be doing. Like we should be together. We should hang out.
Maybe they like the idea of being
Right.
together, but
Well, and one moves in, they're living together, and so sometimes that can create codependency,
Oh, for sure.
but also like a false sense of that. What do you, as
Which this is going to bring us to something that Zoe is has strong feelings about.
What?
Because when they both split up, they both leave the lady's house.
Oh, yeah. I have
And
very
then you
strong
get
feelings.
really mad about Joe Fox because he's a millionaire without a home.
oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
So he
lives in his
was living
boat.
living with her. So he leaves.
And goes and stays with his dad.
And then dad leaves
yeah.
the wife leaves him, but he's on a boat because he doesn't have a home.
He has his own boat, and they park next to each other.
I'm like, you're multimillionaires and you don't have a home.
yeah.
You live off the women? Is that what you're telling me? Because that's what it feels like.
Yeah, because you're right. Because to Phil's point and to your point, yeah, the guy moves out of Meg Ryan's house onto his own in wherever he was living.
Yeah,
And
he
that-
had his own apartment.
yeah. That's an interesting thing.
see, I kind of wonder if it was like the whole. Well, I don't know. Like sometimes the boyfriend girlfriend, like they stay in the night sometimes, but they don't necessarily completely move out of their place. That was kind of my theory when I saw that.
I don't know.
Because I was like, he doesn't have a lot of stuff. That doesn't make sense.
But here's the thing: when we talk about Fox's character, though, when you think about everything that he is not someone who has a lot of connection to anybody, really. His coworker he's kind of just whatever with him.
Dave Chappelle.
Dave Chappelle.
Oh, I have a story.
Yeah.
I have trivia. So this casting came about. He was originally offered the role of Bubba in Forrest Gump.
What?
And
He
didn't
turned
take
it. Yeah, he thought it was the movie. It was going to flop. He regrets it now.
Yeah.
So Tom Hanks promised to work with him on a future film. So Tom Hanks suggested to the director that Dave Chappelle play the role of Kevin. So that's how he got the role.
And he did great.
Yeah, he did great. Yeah.
He did awesome. But I think if you explore Fox's character, it makes a lot of sense that he doesn't have roots because
He's sleazy and
yeah, and all he does is he opens up stores.
Well, and his dad go back to the boat too, so he grew up that way.
So we talk about nature versus nurture, and the nature of and I think both sides of that, the nature and the nurture of Fox, he hasn't been any of those things. None of the nurturing has happened. He's lived an empty life. His dad's relationships have been consistently short and
because he hooks up with the nannies. Every single one. Like they
Yeah,
make
it's
that
so
a
true.
so
point.
we do find that out later.
And then it's funny because his wife leaves him for the nanny. But irony.
I do want to rewind.
Yeah,
back
sorry, we're
about-
going towards the end, but
I want to rewind about 10 minutes into our
All right, back into
movie or conversation here,
Okay.
or both. The reason why Joe figures out he wants to leave his girlfriend, they get stuck in an elevator.
Yeah. This,
Oh yeah.
And she is so unsufferable. Like,
where are my Tic Tacs?
yeah.
well, everyone. You go ahead and talk about the elevator.
He's like, I can't, like the guy, they're stuck in the elevator with the guy, and for some reason, he's like, let's all jump. He's like, the elevator doesn't know we're in here. I was like, the elevator doesn't know?
I laughed at that line. I was like, what?
The
I love how they do it though.
the
Yeah,
ele-
they're like, what? You
the-
might as well try it. We can.
The elevator doesn't know anything. Like, what are you? But they all try it. And then they like it cuts to them all sitting on the floor,
Right.
and this guy's like, what would you do when you get out of here?
Yeah.
And this one guy's like, I know exactly what I would do.
I'm gonna marry my lady.
Yeah, I'm gonna marry my lady. And then everyone else had like some kind of
Right.
Like deep philosophical, like,
Yeah, and
I
he-
regret not doing this. I'm going to do it now.
and Joe realized what it was, but he doesn't say it out. He goes to say it out loud, but he gets interrupted
Where are
by
my
his
Tic Tacs?
lady wanting her Tic Tacs.
And then she goes, "What?"
Yeah.
I love her. I'm sorry.
And then we go back to where you guys were.
Yeah, so that's, I think, what I love about this movie, and there's a lot to love, but there's also, to Zoe's point, there's a lot to question and be. So here's the thing. We talk about this a lot in previous episodes with previous movies. In the 1998 world culture, this wasn't probably as upsetting
Oh,
or
no.
concerning as we would kind of look at it through the lens of 2025 and go, oh my gosh, what? Who and all the things? I don't Ooh. In 1998, this was funny. This was topical. This was normal in presentation to the cultural zeitgeist. You know, people cheating on each other emotionally or whatever, physically, whatever. That was
They weren't kissing, so does it count?
right.
It
and
counts.
Yeah,
It does.
yeah. So this movie tries to have its cake and eat it too. It sort of works in the scheme of 1998. However, the longer time has gone on, the more things we've had time to think about. There's some things that you're just like. So as we go through, I will say that I love this movie, but I also will say that I was born in 1982. Like I've watched a lot of movies that if you said, "Oh, you watched that," and I was like, "Yeah, it was 1985, 1992, 19, whatever." Like there's a lot of movies that, like She's All That. Do we want to?
I love that movie.
Right?
Amanda
Right?
Bynes.
Right? It's fantastic. There's also what is it? Freddie Prinze Jr. and Rachel, whatever her name is.
That's She's All That.
Is that She's All That?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm mixing.
So
them.
You must think of She's the Man. Is that the
Oh
one?
yeah.
Yeah, She's the Man. That's Amanda Bynes.
Yeah.
She's All That is Freddie Prinze and some other, and it's like to turn the nerd girl into the attract. It's a whole-
Yeah, I like that one too. Actually.
yeah. There's a anyway. So there's certain movies that we would watch. And be like, yes.
So under this, when we were running it, was something about Mary, which is also one of my favorite
Oh
movies.
my gosh.
But then I kept
I don't know if
pushing.
we could talk about that.
Yeah,
on
I was
the
like, would it
podcast.
be appropriate? Probably not.
No. But
But Ben Stiller and Cameron Diaz.
so this is
Yeah.
this is the thing about, and we'll get back on track here in a second. But
Maybe.
Yeah. We'll see how it actually works out. But I'm 43 years old because I can't remember. Zoe, you're
32.
32. So I got 10 years on you. Even like it's funny that the movies that we've watched that we probably, if we were to watch them for the first time in 2025, we probably wouldn't watch them.
No.
Be like, oh my gosh, this is horrible. But because we grew up in a different time, there's a level and a layer and a lens of the humor that we appreciate because we grew up in a time when that was funny. And this is, again, a longer conversation at some point, but comedy, the danger with comedy is that if we start to restrict comedy, we start to restrict what's funny and saying, well, you can't make a joke about this, that, and the other thing. It's like, well, then what
What are we going to joke
what
about?
are we going to joke about? And so there's this constantly moving target of comedy, and how do we measure and what we'll allow and what we'll tolerate and what we're okay with and what's cancel culture and what's not worth a cancel culture and what even is the point of it. So there's this moving target that I use this statement. I say I'm sitting here, but I'm standing here. I don't have a stand on comedy and what's funny and what's not funny yet. I have where I sit, which I have a healthy appreciation for this movie because it is Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan in their prime, in their romantic comedy prime. I mean, Sleepless in Seattle is one of the greatest romantic comedy movies of all time. That is, I can't even tell you how much I love that movie. And it's hard to be like, yeah, it's uncomfortable. Some of the moments you're just like, oh my God. But we also, and so, yeah, because you don't want that to be promoted, right? The dad's behavior is, he's an absolute cad. He is an absolute slime
He's
ball.
had like 5 marriages.
Right.
On to the next in 3 weeks is what he says.
Yeah,
and I'm
he's-
like,
but that's accepted. But I think we have to kind of, to your point, we have to take a step back and dig into the clinical piece of it. Okay, what has caused this to happen? And that, as a viewer, as a watcher of the movie, when you start to realize, you understand you're not supposed to like this dude because the movie has told you and shown you he is an absolute slime ball. And there's nothing redeeming about Dad. Dad does not redeem himself in any way in this movie.
no.
He
But I
doesn't
think,
need to.
but I think from that moment,
Yeah.
I think that opens up Joe's eyes, and then that's when he starts treating Meg Ryan differently.
Yeah, because so we talk about how you like we've all had stories of, or heard stories or had stories of our own where our parents or our grandparents behaved in a manner or acted in a manner that made us go, I don't want to be like that.
No.
Yeah.
And I think to your point, this is that moment for him where he sees his dad, like it's the
Moving back into a boat.
moving back into a boat. And I think,
At your age, too. Like,
yeah. And I
You're
think
like,
you're
you're
right.
going to get no more unsteady on your feet.
do you want another baby? You're like 70.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it's wild. So I think, to your point, you're right, Zoe. I think that it is where Fox looks at his dad and goes,
I'm not going to be
wait
that.
a minute.
Yeah.
How I'm treating this woman or how I'm living my life,
Yeah.
it's not the greatest. It's not a good place to be.
Is it after this where he goes over to her house with the daisies? This is one of my
I
favorite
Yeah.
think so,
scenes.
yeah. It
So-
was so cute.
I love how this ending both mirrors and kind of like reflects the original story, because in the original story, Shop Around the Corner, she's sick because she's losing her mind.
Yeah.
And in this, she's sick, and so he goes over there and brings her daisies, and he has
Just
a
as I want to be your friend.
yeah. I feel like
And slowly giving her hints, I feel like, but she's not picking up on it yet.
So
Yeah.
when is her sickness before? So is her sickness? Does she get sick before or after they make a plan to meet each other in person, and then he doesn't?
We
It's
kind of
before.
skipped over the meeting.
Okay, so yeah, so this,
but
this,
that happens exactly the way it does in Shop Around the Corner.
yeah,
Yeah.
it exactly mirrors it because he goes, he has his friend Dave Chappelle with him, and he says, "Who's in there?" He's like, "Oh well, it looks like it is actually." He goes, and so he
Oh,
goes.
you ain't gonna like her then.
Yeah, and you're like that. And so he walks away, but then he does come back. And then it does mirror the Shop in the Corner where he passively aggressively is trying to kind of push her and kind of get some information from her.
And then goes to the next table and then comes back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is absolute. So if you look at this in the real world sense, absolutely you should never behave like this.
No.
This is manipulative. This is gaslighting. This is inappropriate. This is not what you want in a man. You don't want a man who's willing to be like, I know who you are. I ain't going to tell you though, because that would be just like in
Here's
reality.
what I love, though. I feel like afterwards, after that happens, both the characters feel bad for their behavior, including him.
Yeah. And so that's
This is to me. This is where the transformation begins.
right. Where we didn't have
He
that in the other movie.
starts-
Right.
It's this process of becoming more honest.
Yeah.
And looking at himself and going, I don't like
Yeah.
what I see. It's not perfect, but
Right.
it's starting.
Well, I think so. Kind of the Bennett. So the the Shop Around the Corner episode is when Zoe really lost her mind on that movie because it is. But legitimately, you did.
Yeah.
Because again, we talk about lens of movies. Like in the time that this movie was made, it would have been funny. It's absurd. But even like to your point, Vicki, there is no change.
Yeah.
Jimmy Stewart's character learns nothing. He just continues to manipulate and be a bad person. In this moment,
There's growth.
but also she does as well.
Yeah.
And
Like she closes her store, and Birdie says this amazing line about how closing the shop is the brave thing to do because you have the courage
Yeah.
to try to go beyond what your
Yeah.
family's done.
yeah,
And that, I didn't say it while we was watching this, but it made me think of you
I thought about it.
and your recent journeys.
And she becomes she's going to publish a
She's gonna
children's
become
book.
a writer.
And that's awesome.
So can I dig into not dig in? Can we open the window on Phil's comment about where your path is? So we've talked about this podcast. You were a high school counselor for the since we started on this episode. And so Zoe has been in our build, and I'm not going to talk very long about this because if I do, I'm going to get emotional still because it's an incredible piece of our story at Lincoln, at our high school. But so Zoe has been working towards becoming a licensed counselor. She's been taking classes. She's been doing her observations. She's been part of a program. Like this has been a thing. And we legitimately, I thought we had at least a year more before this would happen. But you passed all your tests. You passed all your stuff. All that's left is applying for the license and whatever. So to that end, for Zoe, and it's very fascinating that Phil mentions that. I appreciate that, Phil, because that's brilliant. Is that journey mirrors this one. Because you have the job that you've loved and enjoyed and treasured, and all of a sudden now it's an empty office. It's the nameplate is off, and all of that stuff has happened, and now you're on to the next thing. And that transformation, I think, to your point about that line, is it takes a heck of a lot of courage and strength to do that and to take that leap into the next big thing. And I think, and I don't know, did you realize it as you were watching the movie or thinking about it at all or no?
A little.
Okay.
I'm being honest. I've been trying to not really think about it.
Sorry, my apologies.
It's okay.
Here's Aaron on his podcast going, hey, let's open that bandage. It's barely healed. That's what I do.
Tissues.
It's okay. I've been so busy.
Yeah.
I've been trying to probably stay busy so I don't have to think about it. Because I am gonna miss you guys a lot. And so.
Well, we're still on
It's been something she has thought about for a long time.
Yeah.
Like since she started getting her own clients.
Yeah.
It's been like a little thing back here, and we knew it would happen eventually. We just didn't know when.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's the natural part of any growth in life. And to your point, Vicki, about the characters is they have that growth. And it's interesting and fascinating. This movie, despite all its flaws, which
Yes.
it
It has
owns,
many flaws.
can have that connection to your story. And when that's again, I say this, I love movies that do that, where you can say, wow, that's me. That's my, like, that's it. That's right there. That's what I'm doing. Like, I know that feeling. I know that memory of walking out and closing the door. Like, I know opening. Oh my gosh, I know that. Like, that's the power of filmmaking. When you see your story told in a way on screen that just is like, wow, what? That's what I love. And I
From when I was 6 years old,
right.
that movie came out. So
Yeah.
it still resonates.
It still does. It still has that power.
The sign of a good film.
Yeah, but also a sign of a life well lived, because you're living a life that's challenged and changing and moving, and it's just extraordinary. And the next steps will continue to unfold. And we're really proud and excited for you. And you'll still be here on Fridays with the podcast because you ain't.
That
getting
was
it.
Aaron's first question.
Yeah.
We're still doing the podcast.
Yeah, I
I'm like,
literally,
duh.
I had no other questions. I mean,
Like, it's
everything.
not goodbye.
I just looked at her so that morning I looked on because I always check the website for like openings, and I saw it and I was like, you gotta be.
Didn't even give me a chance.
I know. Well, this is.
Oh, Aaron's obsessed about you do it so much.
I just check it because I'm always curious.
you
Like,
know
okay,
before
hey,
anybody else because you check it so
well,
much.
I'm always like, hey, what's going on in the district? Where's our stuff? Like, are we okay? How are we doing? And I saw that and I was like, oh man. And Liz, to her credit, was like, that's why you don't check it in the morning. And I was like, okay,
Yeah.
all right, Liz.
Thank you, Liz.
She wasn't wrong, but it was also just like it's instinct. I'm just like, oh man, because it's the end of the school year. I'm curious, like, okay, what openings do we have? What's going on? Stuff like that. So, all right, we'll move past that for Zoe's sake. But I think it was. Yeah, so that's a cool moment. But to your point, I think, Vicki, they do change. They do start to realize that things. So the scene where he goes to the house, I absolutely love Meg Ryan in this scene because
She's popping off on him and he walks in. He's at the door.
She's trying to hide all the tissues.
Right.
And
I mean,
puts on
that's
her like raincoat or something.
That's real.
well, and she's holding
She's
him
in her
down.
pajamas.
And she's yelling at him, and he gets in from somebody else, and she's still yelling. And then she gets done, and she's like, "Hello," and he ding 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 ding.
I love how he just takes it.
Yeah,
No,
At one point, he does do something that was kind of like, probably shouldn't have done that because you're not there on that level yet. But
Right.
like, he puts his hand over her mouth.
Yeah, like.
yeah. Like, I'm
Did
gonna
you see
stop
his
you.
nice manicured fingers
Yes.
too?
yep.
I'm
Well,
sorry,
he's-
I noticed because they
he's-
look so nice.
He's FOX. He probably goes and gets his nails done.
FOX.
Gets his nails and his feet did, and he's very professional.
Just never known a guy to do that.
Me either.
Well, you think about it. He's the face of the company, right?
That's true.
So when he goes and meets with people, or he goes and you don't want hands looking all gnarly and that. He's like, my fingers are gotta look nice because I'm gonna be talking to people and shaking hands.
Sorry, that reminds me of like the cashier scene where she's like in the wrong line because she's trying to avoid him,
Infuriated by the woman behind the counter,
and she's like obsessed with him, but she hates the lady. And I'm like, hello.
Where is this happening?
They're like at a store. And
She got in the wrong checkout line.
Oh,
It's
like
cash,
cash
only, and
only.
she's being as nice as she can. Just
Oh,
being
that's
like,
right, yeah, 'cause she
I'm
doesn't-
so sorry. And the lady is so mean to her. And then Fox shows up, and she actually listens to him. I was so
Yeah,
mad.
he's like, you see that? That's a credit card reader. You're gonna swipe it, right?
so he's being condescending,
And
and she
she
still
is-
likes him.
I'm not sure. There's probably a message in there somewhere.
There has to be.
Make it make sense, Rose.
Yeah, Rose.
So he has feelings about Rose.
I don't like Rose either.
Because she's smiling at Fox and like frowning at
Yeah.
Meg Ryan.
Well, okay, so
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
So here's
He's
the,
like, and you're gonna say Happy Thanksgiving, okay?
And she does.
Yeah, but she says it back as if she doesn't speak English. Because she says Happy Thanksgiving, okay?
No, she says Happy Thanksgiving back.
Oh yeah, Happy
She
Thanksgiving
repeats
back.
verbatim
Yeah.
she's definitely got an attitude.
I think it's probably because like he presents as authority and money, and because she's in a
Is it the whole, like,
Oh,
male
and that
female
guy,
I
the
guess.
guy yelling the whole time too. Who's just
Oh, Henry?
none of his
Yeah.
business whatsoever.
Because he goes, "Hi Rose, I'm Joe. This is what is her name?
I don't know.
Kathleen.
Or
Kathleen.
Kathleen. And then he's like, "Well, I'm Henry. Can you move on?"
No one cares about you, Henry.
It was so funny.
Henry, take a breath.
It's Thanksgiving. Be thankful.
Be thankful you're in a line.
Yes.
So I think maybe it could be okay. There's a couple of interpretations here probably, and again we're focusing on like a 5-second scene.
I know.
Oh, it's so infuriating.
But
though.
I think it's probably because she is so like not put together. She is just like, oh no, and he presents as just confident, cool, calm, collected. And I think that's probably why she responds, because he's projecting authority, he's projecting power, he's projecting.
He's not taking no for an answer.
Yeah, and he's not gonna. And so she, the whatever her name is, Rose. She's like, oh, okay, well, I can't. I can push this girl around. I can't push this guy around. Okay, I'll have to do what he says. And I agree, it's awkward. But it's just mind-boggling that this little 15-second, 30-second scene ends up in the movie.
Because she's still apologizing at the end, and
And
Rose
she's
is
being
like,
so
"Grr."
nice. She's
like,
being so nice.
Okay, move on to Henry, and we'll be fine.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So
we're skipping around. It's fine.
We are.
Well, we're at the end. We're just going back to things we missed.
Yeah, so then she and Frank end their relationship at some point down the road here, or even before this. Joe breaks up with Patricia. He has feelings. So he slowly builds a face-to-face relationship with her. So this is where the trickiness is, right? Because he knows who she is. She doesn't. This is where they get the echo of the James Stewart movie, where he's kind of like, he's actually being a friend to her.
Yeah.
And he's actually being kind of genuine
Yeah.
with her. And I think that's the difference, is that she's not trying to like gaslight her or make her like whatever. He's
Except for that one time where he's like, he might be married. You don't know. That's the only time. And she messaged him, and
Or
he
in
goes,
jail.
"Well, so my dear friend said to ask if I was married." It's the only
He
time.
actually tries to get her to realize who he is.
yeah.
He does.
It's
He
on
sprinkles
several-
it.
Yeah, he
Several
gives her
times.
hints. But I think she's just so, I don't know. I think she's like in her emotions and her feelings that she's not able to go, oh, maybe I should think this through, maybe. And I can't really think about why that would be, or why. But I guess, because here's the thing: if she realized it, the movie wouldn't exist. We'd have a pretty quick ending. We close it out. Yeah.
I feel like this is actually the main part that I like of the movie.
Yeah.
And it feels like he wants to be better for her so that she does actually like him when he does tell her the truth.
Yeah, that's kind of what I think.
Okay.
too.
Yeah. Okay. So you guys make a good point. So he does start to.
Oh my god!
There's a picture just fell there and said we freaked
the
out.
Sandlot. I put that up there and I thought it's gonna fall.
You're killing me, Smalls.
I'm trying to like give myself.
Here, give it to me. I'll take
do something with that.
And Aaron died on the podcast.
Yeah, that's
Oh my gosh.
And I would just like to point out,
yeah, it's on camera actually. Hiya, camera.
I forgot I was there for a second. I'm like, oh yeah, big
he
film.
definitely isn't uploading this now.
No, now you have to, especially that part.
I might upload clips.
No,
of-
don't, because I'm pretty sure my belly's hanging out.
God.
I do not consent to that being on.
Oh, okay. I'll zoom it in on my fall thing. It'll be great. That'll be a good preview for the. Hey, we're gonna start recording.
That's like a
this.
slow motion thing where I was just like, no.
I got my hands were moving all over the place. I was like, oh, there it goes on my head. So yeah, I think your point is he's trying, because he turned his to Vicky's point, he does start to change who he wants to change, because I think he recognizes, I don't want to be like my dad. I don't want to be that guy who's
Living in a boat when you're 70.
and
Yeah.
trying
Divorced
chasing,
for the 5th time or
Right.
whatever.
With all your little.
chasing the nannies in every which way, but whatever. So I think he does that, but she. I think is she mystified, or does she just kind of go along with it?
Huh.
As he's being nice to her and building a relationship.
Oh yeah, she's vibing. She's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
getting all giddy.
Well,
and
he's kind of
like,
gradual with it, you know. I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
that helps.
Yeah, he doesn't overwhelm her. He starts slow.
because they just bump in,
Right, bump into each
and then he goes,
Oh, hi.
"Do you want to bump into each other over there tomorrow at this time?"
Sure.
That's cute.
Yeah, I do like that. it feels a lot more wholesome
Yeah.
than the original with Jimmy Stewart because, again, you run the risk of alienating your audience with your characters. If they're underhanded, if they're gaslighting beyond the period of the character arc that's supposed to change, you're not going to want to watch. You're like, okay, this is dumb. I hate this person. I don't want to watch it anymore. But the movie does a nice way of kind of balancing that.
Yeah.
Well, and she changes too, because she notices her, like, she's almost becoming Joe Fox and being like, grr.
Yeah.
And then she's like, wait, you don't deserve that. Just because I don't like you doesn't mean I should be like that.
I like that.
I like that moment. I really do, because I think it's that, and again, to Zoe, you can kind of speak to this. There's that anger that she was just holding on to. What, I guess for you, as you know, in your counseling experience, what is the danger of that anger taking residence and holding?
Do you want to physically explode?
Yeah.
I don't know if that really would happen, but
Right.
It will come out and it's going to not be good.
Yeah.
So it's better to cope
Or figure out how to
or
handle
figure out
it.
how to, yeah,
Or even have that
regulate.
Right. Have that self-realization moment of like, I don't want to be like this.
Yeah.
I don't want to be like
There's other ways to get out anger besides being
Right.
mean to people
being mean to people. Yeah.
Yeah.
and murdering them. And
Back to murder.
That escalated quickly.
well, I was like, what's worse than that?
Murder.
Murder.
From yelling at people to murder.
I mean, that's a spectrum, right?
Yeah, it is.
Like,
We're going to develop Zoe's
I'm gonna be making a spectrum of anger.
Sounds like a pass or fail curriculum.
It might be.
You first you get angry and then you start killing people.
Hey, that's like where my experience is. You know, my class was pass fail. I mean, it's fine.
We are all over the place. Which is
A lot of them pass though. Yay!
we got there.
Oh, okay.
All right.
So now I think they agree to actually meet up.
Meet up. Yep.
Oh, can I just?
And this is. Go ahead.
Okay.
I don't know if you're going to say.
It's going to be really quick. It's going to be really quick. Okay. The first time they asked to meet and she like instantly closes her computer.
Yeah.
That kind of infuriated me because it's like, oh, what? Now that it's not like a fantasy, like you don't want to like
Yeah.
actually go to that next level of meeting them, and
Yeah.
it took her a while to respond to that.
Yep.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
you like him, right? Like
Right.
meet him.
But I think maybe she didn't. So again, to swerve back into the lane of counselor, there's that idea that you don't know what to do with your feelings, and so at this point, when she closes that for the first, she's already broken up with her boyfriend, or she's on her way to breaking up with her boyfriend.
No.
Oh, so she's still with him. So
Yeah.
that could explain part of it. Of like, oh my gosh, I'm still with him, and this guy wants to meet. What am I doing? Oh my god! Like there's almost that like.
Yeah, the only reason she wanted to meet with him when she did is because she was desperate to try to save her business.
Yeah.
Right. And now it's like there's some romantic pieces in there, and she's like, oh no, this is not good. What am I doing?
Literally.
So, yeah. Okay, so he eventually arranges another meeting.
But I will say before that, he straight up tells her how he feels.
And I forgot about that part when I rewatched it, and I was like, what? This is, again, I think that's the benefit of this movie versus the Jimmy Stewart movie.
Yeah.
Because Fox plays it straight. I think he probably recognizes. He says, "Look," in his brain, he's like, "Well, look, if I'm not honest with her now, and then we meet up, she is going to be angry.
Mm-hmm.
She's gonna be like, you lied to me, you did it." So he's like, "I have to be truthful. I have to come clean. I got to tell the truth." And so he does. He says, "I."
Oh, that's a great line. If I wasn't Fox Books,
Yeah.
and you weren't the little shop around the corner, we could be together as long as we both shall live.
Yeah.
And she's about to cry.
Yeah. And she can't give her feelings up for NY 152.
It's like I owe it to him to at least meet him.
Yeah.
152 felonies.
Yeah.
That was my favorite one out of all those.
I love when she was like, "Oh, his address." Oh no, he'd never be that. I don't know, generic, and he gets this look like.
And it's actually is his.
That's my favorite part.
Okay, that's what I thought. I was like, is it really?
Yeah.
It was.
She could have found him this whole time.
She finds well in New York. I'm sure there's like plenty of 152 street. And that was before Google Maps, so she had to pour over how many addresses have 152 in them in New York?
Hey, what's the closest one?
Right. So in the benefit of that movie in that time is that you didn't have that access. But in 2025, this movie would be really easy. Just search 152 and start to narrow it down.
Yep.
You got them figured out, and roll credits. It's a short film instead of a long movie. So she says, "Okay, I'm gonna go." And I think he tells her that I'm gonna bring my dog. Or you'll see my dog, or whatever. And so what I love about this, and this is one of my, when I saw it when we watched it the first time, when you see Brinkley coming and then you hear him say Brinkley, that hit me because she then realizes, and her emotion on her face, credit to Meg Ryan, you see the realization of who's coming up the walk. And I love how this movie, the reveal is slow because he slowly comes into sight.
Well, it's not just that. This is what I was going to point out. The very first email we ever hear him send to her, he's talking about his dog Brinkley.
Oh, yeah. Doesn't name it. He just says, I have a dog or whatever.
No, he names it.
He names it Brinkley.
My dog Brinkley.
Because he didn't.
That was the very first email we hear in the movie.
Because you're right, yeah. Because he didn't name the dog in person. He didn't tell her about his dog in person, did he?
Nope, not until then.
Okay.
So when she hears Brinkley, she's like, And
then she sees them, and that's when it clicks.
And then she's like, I was hoping it was you. And that's where I just want to cry.
Yeah.
See, I love it when they're like kissing and the dog actually tries to like get in with them. Like that's so
cute.
what they do.
Yeah.
It was like a hugging.
Yeah. That ending is classic. Like it is just, it's everything you want in a romantic comedy because it earns it in as many ways as it possibly can.
Yeah.
It starts it from beginning to Phil's point when he talks about the dog, and then it's just all encompassing.
Can we just take out all the infidelity?
Yeah, fair.
Yeah. Could you do that?
Because it's really not needed.
No.
No.
I think it's in there for humor, for comedy relief. Because you've got Greg Kinnear, and then is it
I always forget her name.
Polly? Oh.
Hold on. Let me look it up. I have it.
It's not Polly Shore.
No, it is not Polly Shore.
Oh, no. Do we have to circle back every time?
God, dude. It's been a while here.
Parker Posey. There it is. Got it. I'm right. Am I right? Parker Posey?
Yeah, Parker Posey.
So it is part. Yes, but those two are absolute comedic.
Oh yes.
Powerhouses on their own.
She's a November baby too.
Oh, 8.
Yeah.
8, 9, 10.
Okay. Anyway, moving on.
There you go. So yeah, I think they're in there for comedy relief, and they're also in there for you as an audience member to keep guessing. Like, oh, will they? Won't they? What's going on? And I think it adds complexity. It doesn't make great complexity. It's kind of just like, oh, really? Do you have to do this? But in 1998, I think obviously it was like, ooh, that's interesting. Ooh, there's things happening. It's not a paint by numbers romantic comedy. It amps up the tension. It gives the audience something to be interested in while things are happening and keeps you going. And then it makes you laugh when they both eventually break up with him and they're just like, okay, bye. You're like, okay, well, that was.
It was
in the movie
obvious.
theater, and she's like, I need to confess something. I did not vote. I was getting a bit of Curdun and I forgot
and
to
he
vote.
loses his mind.
Loses his mind.
He's like, I can't date someone that's not like into politics.
But politically involved. She's like, I need to tell you something. I forgot to vote.
I think she wanted to make him mad.
Yeah, there is a part.
They're
of that.
they're like cats at each other before the movie starts.
They're way better as friends because once they break up and there's like a relief, and then they can just be friends and just chill.
They can figure it out.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. That is You've Got Mail.
Not what I remembered. That's for sure.
Yeah, there are there's points of this movie you're just like, oh my gosh, really? Oh. But again, it's 2025. So this is going to sound really, really, really terrible, but I would argue that the reason why we don't like it is because it's not that the word's not edgy, but it has an edge. And we are uncomfortable in the edge as viewers, as watchers, as consumers. And the rough edges of a movie or a plot or a character, they bother us. And it would have probably bothered people in 1998. Like they're like, oh, that's uncomfortable. But the movie thrives in that because it makes you think about, it makes you feel things about all of this. So by the end of the movie, when I'm glad it was you, there's an emotional release from those edges. It's finally smoothed, and there's relief, and it ends happily. Do I like the fact that makes it sound like we should have weird like infidelity stuff in movies that makes us uncomfortable? Maybe. I don't know.
I have another theory.
Yeah.
I think it may have to do with our stage of life.
Yeah.
Like,
For sure.
engaged and married and
Yeah.
like.
But what's weird is like when I think, like I don't remember them having partners, so I either blocked all that out.
Right.
I think when we started watching it, I even may have said out loud, "Oh, I forgot that they were like."
I did immediately
Because Vicki was like, "Yeah, no, they have people, they're living with people." I'm like, I do not recall this.
I remember her alone typing her little email.
Right,
I'm like,
yeah.
who's this guy?
Who this? Who this man?
That is not Tom Hanks.
Got to vote. Remember that scene?
Oh my lord.
It's wild.
Actually, it's cute because they both take off their little scarf the same way. Did you notice? They're
Oh,
just like-
really? Interesting.
That was funny.
I love it. So there you go. A movie that so we're going to be ready for a rating.
Oh god.
And here's the thing. Here's what I'll say. You can rate it in two different ways.
Okay.
You can rate it in the 1998 life world that we were in, and you can rate it in the 2025 world. And I think going forward, we might want to do that. For any of these movies that are like older and are like a little bit, we can say, hey, here's how I'd rate it in 1998 or whenever this movie came out, and here's how I'd rate it in 2025.
Do you remember when I rated the other one?
No.
Oh, okay.
They were.
Oh, you were
I
low.
think.
Oh, it was pretty low.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you were fit to be tied. Which again, not dismissed. You were legit upset for a good reason because it was just like, oh, really? Well, okay.
And we were all saying, this is an improvement. This is better.
Yes.
Yeah, I would agree. So in 1998, I would have given this thing a 10. I would, because I was in high school and just getting into high school at this point, and I would have just loved the like comedy and the craziness, and I was like, yeah, it's funny, I love it. So I would have given it like a 10 in 1988. In 2025, do I want to go for the crazy? I would say like a 9, 8.5.
Okay.
I think to your point, because when I talk about the edges, right? This movie has edges. This movie, you run up against it. It's uncomfortable. You know what? I'm going to argue that we need the edges, and
You're good, dude.
I'm going to argue that we need edges. So I think I would give this like a 9, 9.5.
Yeah, okay.
Because I think, again, I'm qualifying this and feeling like I have to explain myself. I really shouldn't.
You don't.
But I'm going to. I'm going to do it, okay? I'm going to do it. Is that there is, as a writer and as a reader and as a literature teacher, I like that you have that like visceral, like every one of us were like, man, too much.
Immediate.
Yeah, immediate reaction. So that's my rating. Phil, we'll swing over to you.
So for my 1998 rating, it would have been a 0
Oh, God.
because I would have been 9 years old, and it was not.
Hey,
F-O-X.
it's not like I watched it when I was 6 years old.
Well,
It would have gone over your head in every
Yeah.
direction.
It
You would have been
was-
like, Mom, put X-Men on.
I was not the demographic
No,
back then.
you were not.
My rating now wouldn't be much higher. It would be like a 4.
Okay, all right.
I hated Shop Around the Corner.
Yeah,
This movie, the only thing that saved it for me was they did the ending a lot better.
yeah.
So
I would agree with that.
I just want to make sure I don't give it anything lower than Shop Around the Corner.
Fair.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a cozy movie. It's something that, like, if it was on at a dentist office or something, I wouldn't be
Dentist
mad.
office?
That does
Like,
happen.
if you're at, like, the waiting room and
Yeah.
it's on,
Yeah.
like, what are you going to do about it?
This probably thing gets played a lot.
I'd be like, oh no.
Be like, change the channel.
Please.
Titanic is up next. No.
I love the Titanic. I have core
No.
memories on that one.
No.
I did go to see that when I was very young when it came out.
Yeah,
so,
same.
So slight off ramp for a second. I was reading something online where they were talking about how like there's those kids in the movie who are in third class,
Yeah.
and their mom is singing to them, and the kids in like out of character were like, they're like, oh, you're singing us to sleep, and then will the boats come to get us? As like not knowing what was gonna, and the mom was like,
Oh
my,
yeah,
can't
that's,
even.
no, that's not how it's gonna work. And it's just like, oh, these poor children.
I'm just glad they didn't tell them that
Right.
they would have been dead.
I don't know if they did actually.
Oh God.
Anyway, sorry, back on the
But
highway.
Wouldn't they see? Because they did the actual water stuff.
I don't know if the kids were in that scene.
Okay.
They may not have been because they were child actors, and that's a traumatic experience.
Well,
No kidding.
as-
Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
gosh.
true.
But
Oof.
okay, is it my turn?
Yes.
Oh God. 1998. Well, I didn't watch it in 1998, but like early 2000s.
Yeah. Okay, so like rating that when you would have.
I would have
seen
probably rated it a 10.
it. Okay. Yeah, but now
In 2025, I'd probably give it like a 6.5.
that's okay.
And honestly, the first half, I loved the second half.
Yeah.
The ending's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It saves it.
Yeah. It does.
The ending is a lot better than the original movie.
Yeah, I agree. Well, and it feels better. Like it's not just this. Oh, well, this is because like it resolves in like what 3 minutes, 4 minutes in the
They
end, in the
literally
original.
barely kiss and it ends, and I'm
Yeah.
like, what happened?
What's going on?
Because I think I might have walked away and came back, and I'm like,
No, you walked away, came back, and was like, "It's over. Let's go."
where did we go?
That was it. Okay. All right, Vicki.
I would have given it a 9 back in the 90s when I was like around Aaron's age, like middle school, high school. Internet was just starting.
Yep.
And I give it an 8
Okay.
today. I still really like this movie, but the beginning is really problematic. The second half saves it, like we were saying.
Yeah.
Like literally that first
I wish it
hour
wasn't
is,
2 hours. If it was like an hour and a half,
Yeah.
that might help it.
I was surprised it was 2 hours. I didn't.
So
Yeah, it was
here's
too.
something that we may talk about down the road, but I think movies have gotten shorter.
no,
I think
dude,
they've
they've
gotten
gotten longer.
Longer.
I think so.
Like just like
You remember Oppenheimer?
well, okay.
Yeah, I want to go see that.
Like
3 hours.
romantic comedies or like comedies have gotten shorter. Like we've not.
Are there even romantic comedies anymore?
I don't know.
I feel like they're not as big of a.
That's kind of true.
Well, that
That's
movie coming
sad.
out, Friends or something, not Friends, about the two guys. I would say that's kind of like a romantic comedy. It's like a bro.
You're talking
romance,
about the the Office guy and whoever else.
where he's like, I gotta go like meet my neighbor. He's like, meet my neighbor. He's the coolest guy ever.
But isn't it like sold as like a horror movie a little bit too?
No,
No.
What are you talking?
I've shown you this trailer so many times.
What's it
It's like
called?
Hold on. I think it's called Friendship or something.
Friendship or
Friendship movie. Yep.
Oh,
A man tries to befriend. No, so a man tries to befriend his charismatic new neighbor, but it soon threatens to ruin both of their lives.
ooh.
Yeah, and eventually
Typical
he's like,
horror
we can't be friends anymore.
Well, that's sad.
But yeah, it's not a horror movie.
It sounds like one.
A socially awkward marketing executive who yearns to be friends with his new neighbor. So it's Tim Robinson and Paul Rudd, a charismatic but unfulfilled weatherman. While Friendship is undoubtedly a comedy,
This
possibly
sounds like
one of the funniest
Anchorman
movies,
to me.
so it does sneak in some heavier thematic material.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true.
The weatherman that doesn't understand social cues.
Yeah.
Yes, that's Anchorman.
Good lord.
And then we had that movie.
But how is that a romantic comedy?
I mean, it's a bromance comedy.
Yeah. Which I think, here's the thing, to your point, I think the reason why we don't have a lot of comedy is because there's like Bridesmaids, but that's been a while since
has
that
been a
came
while.
out.
The most recent one I saw was social media. No,
Arrow.
it has the guy that plays Sheldon in it,
Oh, that one was so good. I can't remember what the name of it
and
is.
he's in a gay relationship, and one of them gets cancer or something and dies. It's
Yeah.
really sad.
But it's really good.
Sounds funny.
I mean, it is funny a little bit. I mean, I watched the whole thing.
Yeah.
I wouldn't
So
call
I
that
was
a romantic
entertained, but
comedy, but it's a
It's
romantic.
definitely a romance movie, but
Okay.
it's not
Not comedic.
a happy movie.
Right.
What about the video game one with Ryan Reynolds?
Oh, the new
the new guy.
new guy.
That one felt like a romantic comedy, kind of.
Not really.
Well, you might as well say Deadpool's a romantic.
Oh,
What, because he loves X-Men or?
No, because there is some romance. He has some Pesci's romance. The Deadpool. There's
He loves himself.
Oh, well, that's
Like,
true.
there's also the girl. I don't know. I haven't watched it because I can't handle it because it's so like
The X-Men one is like,
yeah.
oof.
It's like the scene. I've watched some scenes, but it's so expletive full. Like it's full of just expletives. Like it's just and I'm just like no.
But the blood is like something you could watch because it's such fake. Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
obvious
yeah.
that.
But it's excessive to me. Like I can't
fair.
handle. It's just not my jam.
But it's Ryan Reynolds.
I know.
Okay, my heart.
Isn't he married to Blake Lively, who's got her own drama going on in life right
She
now?
does have a lot of drama going on.
Yeah. Yep. Moving on. All right. So what are we watching next week?
good question.
Something to make Phil happy because
Yes,
he
because
didn't.
he has one. He's not speaking
Just
up.
married.
Oh boy, isn't that Ashton Kutcher and Brittany Murphy?
Yeah.
Yes.
You've
And it's
talked
a
about it
romantic
before.
comedy.
Okay, fine. We'll watch Just Married.
Oh my! Have you even watched
Aaron.
it?
No, I haven't actually.
You
I
probably would
haven't
like
either,
it.
actually.
He just knows my sense of humor, and he does not like my sense of humor.
It's not that I don't like
Well,
it.
Aaron,
I
he's
wouldn't
put up
even-
with black and white. I feel like we owe it. to
But
him.
wait, what was that one comedy you made me watch that was like?
Pinocchio.
No, it was with that one guy.
Aaron wanted to say it. I could tell.
Naked Gun.
Naked Gun. Come on.
Oh, that's right. I did. Oh my gosh, did you see they're making a new one with Liam Neeson?
No, they're not.
Yes, they are. It's a trailer, and it makes me just kind of go, oh boy. So they have him. You'll have to watch it. I can't really talk. We can't really talk about much of the content. But there is a scene in the trailer where like all the new guys are like at their father's like pictures at the memorial in the police station.
Yeah.
So you've got Liam Neeson and Liam Nielsen. Whatever you guys' original name.
Liam Neeson.
Yeah, Liam. Yeah.
Wow.
Liam Nielsen. Whatever his name. And then so Liam Neeson. Yeah, is so many Liams can't handle it. So they're all like crying in front of their dad's portraits, and they get to an officer who's like in front of OJ's portrait, and he just looks at the camera and goes, "Mm-mm."
Oh my god,
That's funny.
I love when movies and TV shows do stuff like that.
Yeah. So you have to watch the
It's
trailer.
like when they killed Charlie Sheen in 2.5
Oh
Men.
yeah, at the end of that.
That was
With
hilarious.
the series finale. That was a whole bunch of drama
But
and beef.
poor. Oh, I kind of feel sorry for him. I hope he
Gets
is better.
Yeah,
It's been a while, so
But have you seen him in anything? Like, I hope he's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the sad part about Hollywood is a lot of times those folks that do go off the deep end, they need help, but they don't get that.
Because he's such an amazing actor.
Yeah, he was
How about why is every actor and actress in an ad for Kingdom Royale?
I don't have an answer for that question.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
It's making him so mad. It's fine.
Phil's
So
angry.
it's
Let's talk about Phil's anger for a moment. Let's sit
I
down.
don't even
Facts with Phil.
I don't even really want to talk about it because I don't want to promote it.
Right.
But it's an
The algorithm is listening.
Yeah.
it's an app game apparently.
Okay.
So they have an ad that is done by Jimmy Fallon.
Oh, cool, of course.
They have one that is done by Kevin Hart.
Okay.
They have an ad that is done by Sophia from America's Got Talent.
Okay.
They have an ad that is done by T-Pain.
Oh, jeez.
They have an ad that is done by...
I love how you have this memorized.
I see them all the time because all I watch is YouTube.
Well, if
Yeah.
it makes you feel better, like every single content creator I watch on YouTube also does one for Animal Kingdom or whatever it's called.
No, this is Kingdom.
Yes, they do it for that.
Kingdom
Yes.
Clash or
Kingdom
something.
whatever.
So this
yes.
so here's the thing. This is what
And
happens.
it's all like recently.
Yeah. So they've got money clearly.
Yeah.
And it's probably, my guess is what it's coming from. It's coming from financial backers or investors. And so they probably sold these investors and we're like,
I'm
okay,
wondering like if it's like a scam
like a
somehow,
slush
like
fund
on
or
the
something like that.
on the back end, like a crypto something.
Yeah.
Because it's like there's no ads. And
Yeah.
You don't need Wi-Fi to play it.
Right. It's just
So I'm like, what's it doing to my phone?
right. What's going on there?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't play apps on my phone. I literally, I think I tried it like a couple years back and I was like, this is dumb. I'm a PC gamer. Like that's where I live. And so, yeah, so part of it why I don't see those ads is because I have a YouTube premium prescription, so it just skips all the ads.
good.
Yeah, because I got
Yeah, it was recommended to me when I started teaching music of like, hey, don't even have ads in your classroom.
yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause you
Like, pay
never
the
know
extra
what
money. I've learned since that you can like put the video on Google Slides, and then it won't play it, but it's just easier
It's a lot
this
of
way. Oh my gosh.
But to your point, I think it could be scam, but it also could be they're banking on that money from people downloading their
Because
app.
unfortunately, little kids are going to download it. They're going to get mommy and daddy's money, and they're going to
Yep.
do it.
They don't need money.
It's free?
Free to play. So
Yeah, it's free.
there's something up with there. Yeah,
Huh.
I would.
There's something going.
There has to be something you buy inside of it then.
No,
Good lord, I'm not gonna touch it.
I don't think so.
This has been Rants with Phil.
Yeah, this is Phil's feelings.
Phil's feelings. Okay, I like that. I forgot about that. Yeah,
Phil's
Phil's feelings. Feelings with Phil.
It rants as you.
Yeah, Aaron's arguments. Maybe we can talk about. Aaron,
Arguing with Aaron.
Arguing with Aaron. That's my segment. And then counseling with Zoe, or Zoe's counseling something. I don't know. We'll figure out a cool
Singers?
word.
I don't know.
Nah. Ooh, Zoe's zingers. That does that sound.
I like it, actually.
Okay.
It's a vibe.
Zoe's zingers. All right, we got it figured out. All right. Well, this has been Nerds by Screenlight. My name is Aaron.
I'm Phil.
I'm Zoe.
I'm Vicky.
Sorry, I'm used to being at the end, so I said
I know,
and
it's all
earlier.
different.
It's fine.
I've reorganized everybody. I've messed them all up today. So we're gonna do Just Married next week.
Woo! Ashton Kutcher.
Yeah. And
Brittany Murphy.
Is Brittany Murphy with us anymore?
No,
She
she
is
passed
not.
She
away.
died. Yeah.
Yeah.
We've talked about that a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And correct me if I'm wrong, because you've done that a couple times. But she is your favorite actress, right?
When she was alive, yes.
Yeah. There's
So she's
I mean,
gone,
I've grown to know new actresses.
Okay.
who's your favorite actress now?
Actress now?
Yeah.
Probably. I really like Jenna Ortega.
Yeah, she's been doing a lot of good stuff. Like I've
She's
been impressed.
in everything now.
She's like the guy from Last of Us TV series, like, and from whatever else. He's in everything too.
Oh yeah, that guy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's bonkers. But hey, they're getting work, and hey, they're putting together sort of good product.
Yeah,
Pedro
Wednesday
Pascal.
2 is about to come out. I
Yep.
think.
Season 2 is hitting soon. Yep.
Yeah, soon.
She was in that unicorn movie. She's
Scream, the new Scream franchises.
Yep. She's making that money. guys.
Beetlejuice.
It's important. All
Oh
right.
no.
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 No,
Are you mixing her up?
I do like Jenna Ortega, but I also love Ella Purnell.
Yeah. And season 3?
Two.
No, season 2 of Fallout is coming
Yes, it is.
soon. So that's
Yeah.
exciting. It's gonna
And
be good.
isn't what's that? Metal something metal.
Twisted Metal,
Twisted Metal? Okay.
The second
which we
season's
can't cover here.
I know. I was
really.
just telling Aaron.
Oh.
I mean, we can. It'll just be like cargo boom,
Cargo review. Good Lord.
blood explosion.
Yeah. Censored. Beep, 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 beep. And that's it. Okay. Well, there
Hey,
we go.
that was still funny when that happened.
I will treasure that memory forever. All right. And in order to avoid that from occurring again,
Yeah, we should stop.
this has been Nerds by Screenlight. We'll see you on the next episode. Thanks for listening. See you next time.
Bye bye.
Bye.
The raspberry flapovers will be out in a moment. The kitchen is closed.
You've been listening to the Nerds by Screenlight podcast, presented by Create at Morgan Productions, located in Fort Morgan, Colorado, USA. For more information on our production house, other podcasts hosted here, and further details, please visit www.createatmorgan.org. You can find us on Twitter at the handle CreateAtMorgan. Create at Morgan is a school club at Lincoln High School, our alternative education campus in Morgan County. Our sponsor is Aaron DeLay, a language arts teacher at Lincoln. Send any feedback to adelayedteacher@gmail.com. Thank you for listening to our podcast.